My name is Tevin Swain. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was in foster care for 3 years.
I'm Jasmine. I'm 22, and I've been in care for like 10 years, I'm gonna say.
My name is Ashley Lawless. I'm 18 years old, and I've been in care for approximately 8 years.
My name is Russell Walker. I'm 19, from Philadelphia. I have been in care for about 3 years.
My name is Byrne. I'm 22, and I've been in care for 5 years.
My name is Arbria Morgan. I'm 21 years old, and I've been in the foster care system for around 10 years.
Each year, about 25,000 youth across the country age out of foster care without permanent family connections. Between 1/3 and 1/5 of these youth will become homeless.
What does youth homelessness look like?
Youth homelessness can be youth couch surfing, going from couch to couch, floor to floor, bed to bed, like sleeping, you in a bed with like 5 of your nieces in a car, hotels, you trying to go to parties just so you have somewhere to stay for the night.
Sometimes it's the pride, like you don't want everybody to know that you're homeless. It seemed like the youth, to me, it feel like they don't want to go like certain places because they might think that people judging them for whatever reason. Like it's harder when you're younger.
When you aging out and you all alone like that's scary, like, cause you gotta think about what's going on in the streets. It's crazy in the streets, like real crazy. So like, you just gotta, like, you can't even prepare for homelessness for real, like.
Why do so many foster youth age out into homelessness?
Not having the proper discharge planning, the lack of resources that your caregiver was they had tried to give you.
A lot of youth are from house to house constantly. They don't get to stay in a place long enough. Some of them have never had a stable home.
Some kids just want to go to their families. Like, if they were integrated with their families while they were in foster care, by the time they aged out, they would have known if that was the plan for them. Like, instead of, like, some cases they want to keep them away from the family. Other cases they want to, just keep pushing them toward their family, but they want to push them towards the family towards the end when they don't even really know anything about their family because they've been away from them so long. They kept trying to say, oh, you can just go back to your grandparents' house. You can just go back here. Like, there was no room at my grandparents' house.
After I aged out of care, my mom let me stay with her for a couple months. But then that became overwhelming because it was like I was staying there. She was asking me for money I didn't even really have.
When you reach the age of 18, you got a choice whether you want to stay in care or whether you want to, discharge yourself. I just went to court one day and then I told my DHS worker that I just was ready to go home. She just told me, like, if you want to leave, you can go. She didn't tell me, like, certain things I would be faced with if I left. Like, she didn't tell me that DHS would help me, like, get into school or, like, a independent living program. After my court date, I never spoke to nobody from DHS. I never heard from my DHS worker. DHS was done after court. That was it. Somebody should have checked up on me, like, within 6 months or, like, 2 months after that, just to make sure everything was okay. If I had the choice now, I definitely would have stayed until I was 21, because maybe I wouldn't have been faced with homelessness so many other times if I would have stayed.
It felt stable at first when I was in SIL, but then it just became like, okay, well, what's next? Do I know for sure that I got these sufficient funds saved? Do I have at least $1,000 for a down payment to move out if I need to?
The housing program that they put me in, they kind of rushed me to do certain stuff, and I didn't even meet some of the requirements that they had, so I was kicked out of the program that they had me in. So it was just like certain requirements I wish they didn't have for youth, because it's like, if I don't meet those requirements, like, where else am I supposed to go?
We're so used to people giving us stuff, and we're so used to it being free that we forget that money makes the world go round. And if we don't have money, we're gonna be out in the street.
By the age of 24, only half of former foster youth have jobs.
You could apply for 1 million jobs, but only like 5 employers might contact you. And you might not even really get hired, so that's not like a guaranteed opportunity. It's just like a hope and wish kind of thing.
A year before I discharged, I was trying to find a job. I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay for my next apartment or where I was going to be.
Fewer than 3% of former foster youth earn a college degree by age 25.
And my worker is just like, oh, don't worry about that. Focus on school. Like my one DHS worker said to me, like, how are you going to work and go to school? Your grades not looking that great right now. And I'm just like, well, how am I going to live? How am I even going to graduate if I can't, live after this apartment?
What can youth in care do to reduce their likelihood of ending up homeless?
Make sure you're ready, and if you're not ready, make sure that you take advantage of like the stuff that DHS has to offer while you're still in care.
Use, your discharge as a time for empowerment. A lot of people might hear that opportunity and hear the word discharge, and they might get discouraged. Use that as an opportunity for empowerment, because pretty much you've been in foster care your whole entire life, so that when you get out, you can live a successful life and try to live as normal as possible and one day have a family of your own.
What can people do to prevent youth in care from ending up homeless?
Stop beating around the bush, spoon feeding youth, telling them it's gonna be all right. Don't worry. When you know for sure that it may not be all right.
You can be like a regular person that's willing to give a resource, give a job, anything counts. Like a support system, just to be there for them to talk to at times. Because when we age out, those social workers, those provider agencies, they leave us behind. None of my DHS workers, social workers, advocates, nobody talks to me. They don't care about my life, for real. So to have somebody there who I can talk to, lean on, when nobody is there, like when I was alone in the system, if somebody was there that I could just talk to, even if you don't know what to do, if I could just get it off my chest.
As far as DHS goes, I would just like to say to them, we understand that it's not your fault that we're in a predicament. Try to step away from your job almost for a second and try to really realize that we have so much more to give to life than just being a foster kid.
If I was my social worker, what I would have did for me, well, one, I would have listened. And two, I really would have just Bria, we need to start planning for your future. What do you want to do? What are some realistic options? After weighing out all those options, we would have just worked towards some goals.
Across the country, about 25,000 foster youth leave care without any permanent connections to adults.
Between 1/3 and 1/5 of these youth, thousands of young people, will become homeless within 1 year after leaving care.
But we can all help to end it now.
You can help by becoming a resource family for youth.
Or connecting them with resources after they leave care.
So help us end youth homelessness everywhere.
End it now.
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 For more information on youth fostering change and youth aging out of care, go to www.jlc.org/YFC.